close to a lot of the people who died in the industry, very close. And Left Eye, you know, Lisa, that's another, she was so beautiful. Her spirit was so beautiful. And let me tell you how crazy, she painted Tupac a picture. And on the back of the picture, she signed it and she wrote, "We will be together in 10 years. Now she gave that to Pac and then Pac died. She was devastated. 10 years to the month that she painted the picture for him, she died. It was the craziest thing. Do you know that apartheid in South Africa was ended because of artists mobilizing to end the system? Do you know this? Do you know it's because hip-hop artists mobilized that we have Obama as the president of the US? Do you know this? Do you know that when we had the Vietnam War, it was artists that mobilized to end the war? Do you know that? So all of you as artists, you have to understand that every moment something comes out of your mouth, you're modeling. You can choose to role model positive things, spiritual things. You can choose to model toxic things. But every moment you speak that you're blessed to have this microphone, you affect a life, every single moment. You could have an artist that understands their power, you could change the world. So I decided in LA, we had a jacked up school system. And I figured the rest of the country, we're not educating children, we're babysitting them, and we're actually polluting their minds. So I felt that if I could change the educational system, the first thing I would do with young people would be to educate their hearts. That the first thing I would have in my curriculum would be heart education. And then I would go to spiritual education. If you think you can operate in a world with no spiritual connection, you have no reason to be in body. You have no reason to be here, because we're more than just what you see. So I had this idea I could change the school system. And music would be how I would do it. And people thought I was crazy. You know, this is 25 years ago. And what made me really passionate is that now I had children. And suddenly, rap started. Hip hop was beginning. It was in its infancy as we know it today. Now hip hop started in Africa. Everything comes from the motherland. But what we know as our art form today started in the US. And it started in neighborhoods in New York and migrated to neighborhoods in South Central and migrated to every neighborhood in every city until it got to you. And so I came up with a way to do programs in schools and assemblies that teachers, principals, and administrators wouldn't even know what I was giving to their children. And I started this, and my husband was building things in the rap industry. And I was actually singing and touring with one of the most famous Nigerian bands around. I performed with salsa groups and a Nigerian band. I was the only non-African in a 14-piece African band. So I had to be pretty good to be with, do you know Hugh Masekela or OJ Ekamode? You should know who they are. But that's who I toured with. And it was a blessing to be on stage with Orlando Julius. He's known as the godfather of world beat music. Had a huge influence on Tupac, actually. So I started doing this work, and my husband was like, "You're gonna help promote my rap artists. And they're going on your school tours, Layla." And I was like, "Well, you work with Easy and Too Short, and I'm not feeling having them tour the schools." He said, "You're doing it anyways." So I began to work with artists that were pretty hard, and I would say, "I need your clean material, and you have to talk to young people, but it has to be outside of just venting and expressing what we feel, because the schools will throw me out. I'll never be able to work in the schools again."